Good morning, students. So we are meeting after such a long time. You had such a long vacation. So I hope you practiced well, you did your holiday homework, and you are well in place, safe and sound. So welcome back. So coming to the syllabus that CBSE has deleted. So first we should actually be informed about it. I've already posted it in the group, but you should also go through it. We have 5 chapters in chemistry. It was first chemical equations, next acid and bases, metal and non-metals, carbon and its compounds, and periodic classification. So mainly we have 5 chapters in your syllabus, but the 2 chapters, metal and non-metals, and then carbon and its compounds, the major portions are deleted. So that means what, we are left with mainly 3 full chapters in your syllabus. The 3 full chapters, the first one, what is the basic chemical reactions and equations, that is very important, you need to practice well, right? So first is that. The second is acid and bases, and in this we'll just study a little about salt also. This chapter also is very important and nothing is eliminated. So the 2 chapters, chapter 1 and 2, nothing is eliminated, full you have in your course. Coming to the 3rd chapter, some metallurgical process and a topic called corrosion is deleted from the syllabus. So that is, metallurgical process were very important. Now it is deleted, so we won't be studying, but I'll give you a brief outlook of the metallurgical process. Then coming to the chapter carbon and its compounds, the major portion is eliminated. So we won't be studying that, but allotropes of carbon is coming in your syllabus, so we'll just study that in brief. Coming to the last, that is periodic classification. The full chapter is in your syllabus, right? That means chapter number 1, chapter number 2, and chapter number 5, periodic classification, they are fully in your syllabus, except chapter number metals and non-metals and carbon and its compounds. So that is brief outlook. So we already discussed a brief idea of what acid and bases are. So it has been a long time, so we'll exactly start it from the very beginning. So we'll talk about what are acid and bases, what are natural acids, and what are mineral acids. So there is a significant difference between the two. Now coming to, if I say acid and bases, so we can actually have 2 types of acids. We have naturally occurring acids, and then you have mineral acids. Okay, students, so what we intend to do is, first we will be writing the definition of an acid, what is an acid, and then we will name a few naturally occurring acids, what we have in our daily diet. All these acids are very mild, so they actually contribute in our metabolic rate, and keeping our body healthy. So an acid we can define as a compound which is sour in taste. Acid हमेशा खट्टा होता है, so it is sour in taste and turns blue litmus red. Now we talk of blue litmus. Blue litmus is a indicator, and this indicator is obtained from a plant, lichen plant, right? So it is a purplish dye, and when you extract the dye and treat it with acid and bases, so blue litmus will turn to red when treated with acid, and red litmus will turn to blue when treated with a base, right? So for acid, this is an indication that blue litmus will turn red. Okay, coming to some naturally occurring acids that we see in our day-to-day life, we have citrus fruits, lemon, orange, etc. They all have citric acid, right? Very mild acid, and citric acid is very good for health. Then onion, we know an onion, when we cut onions, actually our eyes become teary. The reason being, you have ascorbic acid in onion, right? Coming to apple. Apple also has an acid known as malic acid. Then you have curd. Curd has lactic acid. Then tomato, you have oxalic acid. So all these are naturally occurring. You have imli if you know, tamarind. Tamarind also has an acid. We call it as tartaric acid. So all these acids are basically carbon chains and carbon acids. They are very, very mild. So these will be known as naturally occurring acids. Now we have a class, we call it as mineral acids. Mineral acids are known as mineral acids because they are extracted from the minerals in the earth crust. So they are also known as inorganic acids, very strong acids. So basically in chemistry, you need not worry, there are only 4 very strong acids or mineral acids that we have. And that we use in the lab. One is HCl. What's the name? Hydrochloric acid. Hydrochloric acid. Strong acid. Then you have the strongest of all. We have H2SO4. What's the name? It is sulfuric acid. Sulfuric acid. Then the third one, that is phosphoric acid, H3PO4 is phosphoric acid. One more acid is there, but it is a little mild and we call it as acetic acid, CH3COOH. It is a weak acid. So mainly strong acids would be these 3. And one more, that is nitric acid, HNO3 is nitric acid. So mineral acids would be hydrochloric acid, sulfuric acid, we have phosphoric acid and nitric acid. This acetic acid is a part of vinegar. Sometimes we do extract and keep it, but all the mineral acids are mainly 4. HCl, H2SO4, HNO3 and H3PO4. Right? So I hope you are able to now, you'll be able to make out how many type of acids, which are strong acid, which are weak acid. Strong acids are only mineral acids except acetic acid, and this weak acid, they are all mild acids present in our day-to-day life, what we eat, right? So if you remember, if an insect bites you or stings you, what happens? You feel that portion becomes swollen and then you feel the sting of that insect. The reason being, when an insect bites or stings, releases an acid in your body, and that acid is formic acid. So ant or any insect which bites you injects in your body formic acid. Due to that reason, you have this swelling, and then you feel the itchy feeling that is caused by it. So that means what, these are the basic framework. What are acids? Now we'll come to indicator. I told you already that we have litmus as an indicator. Litmus, when absorbed by a sheet and you cut the sheet and dry it, will be known as litmus paper. But you can also have litmus as solution. We call it as litmus solution, right? So this solution or this dye is extracted from a naturally occurring plant known as lichen, and this is a light purple dye, I told you. So the behavior of indicators will actually tell you whether a given solution is an acid or it is a base. So we'll just make a brief table of the indicators and their action on acid and bases, right? We talk about red litmus. They are all indicators. We talk about blue litmus, phenolphthalein. It's also an indicator. Then we will talk about methyl orange. Methyl orange is also an indicator. These indicators, they change color, so they are, which will show you difference in the color, so you can make out it is acid or a base. So we will just write acid and bases. Methyl orange does not show any change. When treated with a base, it has no effect. So instead we will write no effect. Base will turn red litmus to blue. Blue litmus, no effect. And phenolphthalein turns pink. Right? Coming to acid, the methyl orange turns red. Red litmus for acid has no effect. Blue litmus turns red and phenolphthalein has no effect. So these are the indicators which will show the respective change. For acids, methyl orange becomes red, red litmus has no effect, blue litmus becomes red, phenolphthalein has no effect. For bases, this is no effect, red litmus turns blue, blue litmus has no effect, and phenolphthalein becomes pink. So they are indicators which show a change in their color. Now there are another class of indicators which have change in smell. So we call it as olfactory indicators. Olfactory indicators have change in their smell. A very good example is onion, and then you have vanilla essence and clove, and also clove, yani ki long cutting. So they are olfactory indicators. They will have different smell with acid and different smell with bases. So now we have certain things which are natural indicators. Natural indicator means they occur in nature and they will also show a change in color. Any example you can think of? Like अगर आपके कपड़ों में हल्दी का दाग लग जाता है, you have seen that हल्दी का दाग, and then you wash it with a soap. What happens? Just go and do it and then observe. What will happen is the stain of turmeric is yellow, and when you wash it with a soap, the soap is acidic in nature. The turmeric stain will become pink in color. So that means what? Turmeric is a natural indicator. And then you have cabbage leaves, that pinkish cabbage leaves. They also show a change in color. So these are certain naturally occurring indicators. So some example we will write of naturally occurring indicators which occur in nature. Indicators. So one is turmeric. Then you have cabbage leaves. Then you have petunia petals, etc. So in this chapter we will mainly discuss about the indicators, the behavior of acid, the reaction of acid, the reaction of bases, what makes an acid strong, what makes an acid weak. So all these properties, but we will gradually do, because the chapter is not a very lengthy one and we will be covering it in 1 or 2 weeks. So make sure you update yourself, you write the notes regularly so that you keep a track, and just revise the first chapter. In case you have any doubts, just revert me on my WhatsApp number and then I'll be sorting out your doubts. Make sure your doubt is relevant. First, make sure that you revise the whole chapter, chapter number 1, and whatever we have done in this chapter, right? So we will continue with the properties of acid and bases in our next lecture. So you will have a lecture once or twice in a week, so keep track.